Welcome along to EXFL.
And it's the Italian Grand Prix in Tier 1. Slightly so different, but oh well. It's Tier 1 for the round 6, I believe, in Season 12. No, round 7, sorry. And 12 today. Half of 6, so it's not even round 6, I kept seeing it. Anyway, immediately out of the laps though, we'll have Enric and Robin at the gates to start their lap. Robin for the new gamer tag, I believe. And Boiso disqualified himself really early on, before I could even start the stream, funny enough. Anyway, I'll ride aboard of Enric. I believe he's making his Tier 1 debut tonight, so hopefully it goes well for the Esteban. We are at Monza, as you can see. Quite a very high speed track, so everyone's probably going to be running 0-0 wings. We're flying through Curva Grande over 200 miles an hour, hit the inside curb nicely. The car looks well on the curbs. It doesn't look like the massive sausage curves on the inside are really affecting the Esteban that much. A brilliant Lesmo 1, you got chuck it aggressively into sector Lesmo 2. A bit of a little skirmish in the exit, but probably not going to lose that much time. We're going to use a bit more overtake here as well. We're flying into sector 2 now to 52.4, flying into what is my favourite part of the calendar, and immediately invalid his lap. He will have 14 minutes to get in everyone on the board, but unfortunately for him, and then his teammate actually done the exact same thing. Hey, Robin, first on 2 across the lines, and 18-1 as he used all his battery just about across the line. That's a good little banker lap from Robin. Starting out well for the Red Bull. Stelios also invalid his lap. I think JJ will be on his out lap. I don't know if Stelios does not have enough fuel. So I believe last week's race winner will be the next driver to cross the line to start a flying lap. He hobbles his way along the curbs there. Adds a lap, of course. And well, I think Enric has gone again. So although he has a bit less battery to use, maybe if Will's feeling about it, he will opt to try and give the Esteban some slipstream. A bit of Esteban teamwork play if Enric has enough fuel to make it to the line, of course. He will be crawling around the second lap though, as I think Will is just gonna give him a bit more of a slipstream here. No, Enric's not even in DRS actually, so he's just pushing on it out in a in lap. Stelios has also decided to go again, I believe. Anyway, going back to it, the race winner last week, he will let, I believe that's Robin past. There will then be Will's. Oh, Jesus. Will completely blindsided by the Williams there. He was pulling off to let the Esteban past, and probably would have been smarter to just stay in the racing line with how Will was just steaming into the rear of that Williams. Luckily enough, no contact. Now, though, he will get to start his lap, hopefully not too flustered by that almost collision. See how competitive that 18-1 is from Robin. We're flying into the very slow chicane here. T1S12, probably one of the more tighter corners on the calendar. Up there with the Monaco hairpin. Always carnage at Monza at Tier 1. And flying through Curva Grande, use a bit more overtake, hitting around 190 or 202. I think it just hit 203. So a bit quicker than Enric. Probably running a bit lower wings if Enric's got a bit higher. As flying into Lesmo 1 just carries a lot more speed. The car's front end obeying it as it does, and carrying way more speed into the next corner as well. Really on it is JJ. Already early on to the session, he has the most poles of the season, I believe. He's chasing that record. And I don't know how many he has right now. I think it's 5 off the top of my head. Flying to Lesmo and the Ascari actually, and that was brilliantly done by the Williams. And now let's just see how he tackles, I believe it's Curva Peroni, I think it's called. It was renamed, but we all know it as Parabolica. We all love it as Parabolica. And we'll would really aim to run as wide as possible to get a better line, but opts to kind of cut into the inside, and it's a 17.8, so a couple of attempts to the good over Robin's lap. And that's a very good lap from the Williams early on. They also have Samuel Jiggly, of course, racing for Ferrari in their second home race this season, just leaving their proper backyard to the main home yard for the Tifosi. As now we see the Scuderia flying to Parabolica. He has a bit of a skirmish on the front end, I believe, just turning a bit too early, but now all other laps are coming in. Frankie and Red to 18.3 and 18.8 Sam goes in 18.5, so splits the two championship contenders, and one splits the entire chicane. So a couple more laps on the board I kind of missed then. Frankie did put 18.3 up, still behind Robin, who actually looks to have a really good lap on that Red Bull. If I will just you can't even adjust your camera settings, well spectated. I'm just gonna have to look at the Red Bull like that for the rest of this race. I'm sure that'll be fun. But yeah, it's only 2 attempts off, but looking very good for the Red Bull right now. And Red's still struggling right now. He has had a rough run of races. I believe he got P3 last time out, and or even P2, I believe, in Imola. Even after a penalty, a little battle of JJ and Frankie, not JJ, Union and Frankie, kind of did them wrong. Speaking of Union, he had invalidated his lap early on. F1 Nico is on a lap though, he's flying into the Lesmos, yeah, where he takes it. Carries a lot of speed in the entry, the front end doing exactly what it likes. Even as he run really low rigs, probably the lowest on the entire calendar for sure. The car still seems like the car's still really turned into all these corners. They definitely are set up well. And now flying into a Scara, going to break at the 50-meter board, has a miss apex in turn 1, and it just goes a bit too wide on the second part of Scara. Hits the inside curve for the good measure, and Stelios is also starting his lap now. Let's see what the top speed of this kick Saber is. It looks to be 213, I think he hit just then, and gets the braking done well. It gets the nice turn in for the second corner as well to go with it. And now we're going to use a bit more of battery, flying into Curve Grande. A lot of drivers opting to use ERS here rather than anywhere else. Definitely helping them carry a lot more speed through. As it's a 26.1 in the first sector. Let's just compare that to JJ. It's a 25.8. It's on par with Robin, who's actually going quicker right now. It's just fly back on board with the Red Bull. He's actually pit. So despite being up, he's decided to come into the pit. So he was a 10th up at the end, and the EXFL is retired anyway. So yeah, I don't know why he's gone back into the pits, but well, it wasn't a good lap. So he has pace there. He could challenge for JJ for pole, who's currently the only man in the 1 minute 17s. Now you see Stelios flying through a Ascari. No, not really any mistakes. Taking it a bit cautious. Flying into Parabolica here. It's quite a quick lap because it basically full throttle the entire time. Chucks it in. Gets it gets really nice traction, and uses all the battery he has. The line will pretty much drain the entire thing, and it pretty much cuts over the track. It's P5 from Stelios. He puts himself ahead of Roadfire Tiger. So a brilliant little lap from the Kick Sauber. And Danny will also, he's just joined, he will be starting his first flying lap of the day in the second run. But I believe this would be his first race in a while. Actually, I don't know when his last race was. I definitely know he's not new, just for sure. However, a lot of people at the top are doing their 8 laps now, but Danny hopefully won't be impeded by them. And purple sector 1, so Red Bull has definitely got a good amount of straight line speed on it. Flying into Lesmo 1 and 2 to see how well he takes it as well. Definitely looks good. Definitely looks good. Runs a bit wider to carry a bit more speed through. You got a yellow flag ahead. I believe that would be F1 Union in the McLaren. However, flying through the old banking. And now into Ascari. Gets first apex really nice. Pretty much cuts the entire first half. Rides all the curbs to a T. Has probably got a brilliant first lap here on the boards from FX7 Danny. Flying into Parabolica. Let's just see what it will be at the end of this lap. He has a lot of battery to use in this final straight, so he will use it all, unlike Steros, who had, I think he had 5 going across the line. And Danny will do an 18.4, so lost a bit more time in that final sector probably. If we could just draw the lines between him and JJ's. A 25.8, G's on his lap right now. He's around just equal on his lap. Let's just look at Danny. 25.9. So 10th off there, actually. So it wasn't actually purple. 361. So, yeah. Pretty much a bit more in that final sector. It's a good qualifying for Red Bull, though. The team hasn't really been that high up there in the standings this season. And Danny's also just invalidated his lap. Salvador Lee is also doing another one here. As JJ did actually improve. I didn't actually go back on board the Williams. So it's a 17.7. So he's deep into the 17s now, and it's looking even more comfortable that the Williams will get pole position. Straight line in the first chicane, many drivers opted to do that. And Sam invalidated his lap midway through that lap while he cut away. Let's go back with the McLarens though. Both of them kind of opting to try and slipstream each other here, I think. No, I'm fine, thanks. Now for Newton to the line, uses all his battery. It will be only be P6. It's not the best outlap in Banker, but yeah, only pretty much one attempt. Nick actually starting his, well, would have started? Was he invalidated, I believe? Probably has invalid that lap. He did, so only an 18-1, which would have put him right up there in the top half of the. I think that would have put him second, actually. But a great lap from Nico, but definitely needs to get that track limits down, and then it could be a much better race, as track position is probably really vital at Monza, more than pretty much any other track, almost more than any other track, because at times you're just going to be in a DRS train the entire race. It'll be quite hard to get past. But dirty air isn't really as much of a factor at Monza, because the cars are running that low wings. They don't really have too much drag coming off them, so cornering will be much easier for the lap, and might offer some more overtaking, a lot more DRS switching for the lead. You'll probably see over 15, up 20 even. At times the lead will switch hands in this race. However, we'll now just waiting until the final laps of the day. I think Frankie's kind of had a bit of a bad. He has had a good lap though. It's at 79. No, it's just yes. So he did a fine time, kind of away from the commentary there. He's got 3 minutes to get back in, get a new set of tyres, and then get back again for one final lap. He's obviously 4 seconds up right now, and flying for a Cascara. He will really need to get the hurry up on that, as now everyone will be coming into the pits to get one lap in. He's also run out of fuel, so Frankie might not be able to get one final lap in here. He's used up all his fuel, and might have to just watch everyone else while they're doing their final laps, as both McLarens now peeling into the pits, as now Union's probably wanting to go out now, while Nico's probably wanting to go in. The McLaren's just taking their time, when they shouldn't really, because there's only 2 minutes left in the session. As here comes Frankie in the pits. I believe there's a Red Bull of, I think it will be Danny? No, it'll be Robin leaving first, and then Danny will be following swiftly after. Scour the pit lane, see if anyone else comes out, see if who's coming out earlier. Will be both the Red Bulls to come out first hand in the final laps in qualifying. One of the better tracks for qualifying, I will say. Always some unexpected drama. Just, there you go. Which is that's still Robin's banker lap. He's done that. So might have had less fuel. He could probably have put less fuel in. Maybe have tweaked the setup a small bit on the front end. And no, maybe he has more ERS in the tank to use this lap, so he could may truly steal pole from JJ. Not many people have been able to challenge the Williams in qualifying this season. Echo the early 1990s, when the Williamses were just that quick in a straight line. No one could that quick in the corners. No one could challenge them back in those days, when Nigel Mansell, the fellow Brit, was dominating with the camel livery Williams. Everyone is on the outlap. Sam directly now coming out the pits. 1 minute 26 left in the session. Frankie's actually opted to take the normal line, and I believe both Scuderias will opt to slipstream each other, as they are both pretty much just neck and neck. Let's just see who will be one to watch. First, it's right on board of Danny to start his first flying lap to try and maybe steal pole from JJ. No one has really been that close to doing it when he's been on his day, and now Robin has a small chance to do so. He runs a bit wide into the entry to turn 1 to try and open the corner, and he has done it exceptionally well. Flying through into Curva Grande now, we're going to minimise the line as close as possible. Doesn't want to hit that inside curb, because you will just scuff it up and lose a bit more time. He has done the exact same thing with the grass. He's 2 times up though. He's found a lot of time. I believe that is purple. Riding that chicane beautifully. The back end just doesn't like that curve as much, but it still looks good though. He didn't lose that much time though. The curves are definitely trying to throw away Robin's lap though, as flying into Lesmo 2. Car definitely obeying it there, and our tyres are probably up to full temperature, obviously. And I think that's Danny's spun, so he won't be able to improve P4 at best for that Red Bull. It's still 2 times up, flying into a Scar, all the speed you can carry, and basically just full flat. And we won't have any ERS to cross the line though. It's only 5% to the good, so he's kept it back in medium, and let's just see how much he can save. He gets to 10%ish. So then, oh, Robin almost invalidates. He runs very wide, but what will the Red Bull be? Can he steal pole? A provisional pole. It's 17.8. It's a 10th off JJ, who even himself was going 1/10 quicker. He's finding even more time. Frankie's only finding barely half a tenth. So has got it up into P3 though, I believe. No, it was he's got pushed down into P3. Sorry. Samuel Dracolido didn't have slipstream from Frankie into the first sector. Let's see how both Ferraris fare. Now we'll have to see F1 Union, who he's second in the championship now. He's actually the closest competitor to Frankie after the Red Flag Tiger's awful last couple of races. P4 for the McLaren ahead of his now championship rival, who actually had a great slipstream, but he invalid at Ascari, and JJ almost into the 17.6s. Brilliant lap from him, undeniably on pole position, unless Salvador Lee can do anything into the final sector. As more times come in, Danny's pushed down P6. Salvador Lee one's a bit wide though, so has Cow lost a lot of speed going through the final corner. It'll be a 18.1, so we'll put in P5. Splits both McLarens actually. It's Nico out of nowhere goes P4, so he did have pace. He definitely found it at the very end when he needs it most. Red Flag Tiger 9th. The Mercedes' season is just falling apart at the heels, as Stelios yet again out qualifies Mercedes. As from 2 wins in the start season, now he's 9th. Well, I think he was like half top 10 last week, and now he's in 9th. His Wi-Fi's gladfully fixed, but yeah, the Mercedes just hasn't had that 1 lap pace this season. And it is also a dry to wet race, maybe. So, sorry, possible rain than this race. There's your qualifying order. JJ taking another dominant pole from Robin, Frankie, Nico. I think qualifying Jaden for the first time this season. Definitely the first time I remember. Samuel Drake splitting both McLarens. Danny didn't get to finish that final lap. Would have been interesting to see where he would have qualified. Stelios in P8. Great lap from him. Only a 18.8. Still good. Red, Enric, EXFL and Woizo didn't get to set his lap on the grid. And now we wait until strategies. I don't think Monza is that tyre dependent, so we won't see much time management. I think it is a 1-stop in Monza. I'm unsure. I haven't really read through the strategies, but the Tier 1 drivers, they know best. So let's just see what they want to do. I'll expect it to be a medium hard. Maybe even a hard medium. Well, maybe a medium hard. I wouldn't know. But definitely an interesting race. Nonetheless, just the main point in interest is the DRS. So if you have DRS and you're in the pack for the lead, even if you're 7th and everyone else has DRS up front, you're still in the fight for the win. So, definitely a chance anyone can take this win, yeah. And if there is rain, expect it to be even more chaotic. As now you fly into the formation lap. Here we go. Let's just look at all the tyres the drivers have on. There's a lot of them wanting to get out of the heat all up. There's Will just steaming through. I know it's Will. Yes, it is. How would I know? That's all. Did to go on the softs, expected him to retire by lap 6 instead of pitting. Where's the top here? So, JJ, I believe he had hards on, so you will definitely be probably racing to the wets, hopefully. For him, my headset's having a nice day. Let's look what Danny has on. He has a nice set of hards to the good as well. All drivers probably wanted to heat these up as hard as aggressively as they can, as I think everyone is actually on hards. There's hards, hard. Maybe if we just go to here, yes, everyone on hards except for EXFL Senna, who is desperately trying to get into the end of this formation lap. No, just taking it like a quali lap. Let's just see them. Yeah, yet again as well. You can just. We saw the same thing in Imola, just how aggressively JJ likes to defend that inside line. Of course, the inside line into Turn 1 will probably be the line to try and get past. And there will probably be a bit of chaos here. As now we head to the lights. Hopefully everyone is lined up well. They are all parked up. Now we wait for the lights. And here we go. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, and 5 red lights. And we're racing in Monza. It's a good start from, I think it's JJ's. I think that's a wheel spin from Robin in the back there. Frankie trying to get up into P3. He's actually getting swarmed, I believe that's Nico and JJ. Both McLarens trying to get him. I think that's Will going for a spin. Stelios has had a bit of an issue. There's a big more contact. Frankie's gone down as well. There's a lot of contact down there. I think they were 3 wide for a moment then. As Will stayed in the same position. That's just right on board of the back. Yeah, Frankie's down to 7th. He's behind Red. Red's at the better start. Nico and F and Union have both made up places though. Robin can't be able to get past JJ. He had a bad start. A bit of a wheel spin, I believe. Dips the wheel into the gravel there almost. As Danny's actually made a position. Says Nico trying to make a move on I think that's Red. And Red's actually been overtaken by Nico. He's also been almost overtaken by Frankie at the same time. So definitely a chaotic start of the Italian Grand Prix. Boizo's now snuck himself into the top 10. Great little start from the Alpine, who's now going to be harrowing the back of that Sauber. Possibly try and get up there. I think Sauber Lee also had a massive calamity in that start. He's down at 12th. He's lost all of his hard work in qualifying. He's now undone. He's now sitting behind Will. No one likes that. Now JJ will lead this at the end of this lap. Robin will have 6/10 of slipstream. And a long bit of slipstream to use for this second time on the straight. And first time in full anger, I believe. As now he won't have DRS of course, but he will have slipstream. He is losing a bit more time, so JJ is probably opting to use a bit more of his slipstream as EXFL has already retired. I see. And yeah, nothing really going for Robin. Definitely probably opting to just stay behind them, just to ease off, just take his time, just have a quite chill, easy race. You know how chaotic it can get at Monza. As now Danny's also quite close to the back of F. He's also almost broken the DRS of Nick, who's used a lot of DRS just to stay in on lap 2. We have the first time opening DRS on this lap as Robin is now gaining a lot more time on JJ. Also has a lot more ERS to use. He obviously can just sit in none while the car just saves up all the battery while keeping the straight line speed up because he's opened his rear wing. And now he also says, just have a look at the ERS management. Yeah, Red for Tiger also opting to use lower fuel. That will probably be good at the end of this race. Frankie, Stelios. Yeah, so going back to the first straight, JJ has 4 attempts now. He will probably lose the lead in the first lap. Robin sits the fastest lap of this race. As now he's going to use all the ERS, same as JJ. JJ is still bursting. As now Robin would have had a look to the inside, but doesn't have enough track road ahead of him to make that move. JJ used all his ERS to make that move on him, to defend that move even. But Robin has even more ERS to use here. He's going to round the outside of Power Roller. This will be a brilliant move if he can make it off side by side. Sebastian Vettel-esque flying into the variant. I can't remember this chicane's called. And down the inside goes Robin. Brilliant move, and the Red Bull takes the lead for the first time of this race. JJ will, of course, try and fight it back. Now of equal terms on the ERS. Now Jaden's probably just going to sit back and watching while the leaders squabble out. Danny's also still hunting for a potential podium there. Nico and Red is he isn't really under pressure from JJ. JJ probably still has the mindset that this is probably still his maiden championship rival. Of course, he has had a rough couple of races, but it seems that it is it seems more likely it's Jaden taking the charge to McLaren with the McLaren right now. I believe he's a couple of points right. Red's actually 4th in the standings now even. So JJ is also slowly creeping his way off into this championship fight in 3rd, and now he's slowly creeping his way back up. It's not even slowly, it's rapidly catching Robin, rapidly overtaking Robin, pretty much undefended, as Samuel Drake Lee sets the fast lap of the race using all of the DRS and slipstream he could imagine. And now he sets his Woizo, he's got back up into the top 10, he's got past Enric, who's now been demoted back into P11. Woizo in P9, he hasn't really got enough strength, enough of an extra challenge still, as I said earlier, just using the DRS to his advantage pretty much the entire grid, using the DRS to apart from Enric and Sam. But hopefully Sam can probably just slot himself back into the 1 second if he doesn't have damage. The Ferrari does look like it has its full front wing on it, so he can just slowly crawl his way back in. Enric's lost that a bit more time to the Ferrari though, so he can't have DRS, so he'll probably be way further down in this race for sure. JJ has a solid gap though, but Robin has now 65%, 70% ERS to start his next lap. Expect that Red Bull to just go blitzing right back past that Williams. Maybe even Jaden's probably going to try and fancy his chances if he can get that ERS right. And Danny is just still poaching there as Robin defends the inside line bit as JJ spun. JJ's had a bit of a spin. He's locked up the rears. I think he's gone off. I think that's someone avoiding into gravel there. Big issue. Jaden now actually goes to take the lead. Surprisingly, he doesn't have DRS though. He's now 3 wide behind. JJ's still trying to take back his P2. So the Williams looks like it's probably gonna be grateful for its mistakes. Robin's got damage as he goes down the inside to McLaren 1-2 right now. As Jaden's probably gonna love this. It's 3 wide into Curva Grande. It is Curva Grande, isn't it? As Robin goes down the inside, brilliant move from the Red Bull, diving right down the inside. Nick has no ERS to use. JJ's just gonna squill, just tight up there. As Red Fire Tiger now just gonna tap Nick's back just to try and get through. As JJ's now going down the inside of Nick, both of them touching. A lot of drivers just using a bit more ERS here. And now a lot more fighting as Red Fire Tiger goes down the inside, just barges JJ off track. Definitely your worst move for him as Frankie now gets past. So a brilliant recovery from Ferrari. He's now slipping through. It's a brilliant racing. Definitely a bit more over on the edge. As now F1 Union has pretty much just wrapped it up already. And now he's just got almost 3 seconds to the good over Danny. Because JJ he spun again. I think that's Woizo also spinning. As Red's got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting already. And Woizo is now gone. He's slotted down into P11. He's lost 2 seconds. Well, he's now 1.4 behind Enric, who's lost 2 seconds. These guys, Robin's also gone down now. I think they also made contact. I think, it's Danny actually who's up there now. It's Robin who actually went onto the gravel to avoid him. As Danny's now serving his penalty, he's also spared in the pit lane. So definitely a horrible race in Red Bull right now. Damage, he was running in P2, but now it's McLaren 1-2 to Ferrari Echo 2021. McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes. As there was a Mercedes 4th, and now it's not. Red Fire Tiger and JJ now having another bit of contact. Monzo's definitely spicing up it. He's only lap 6 and my throat is gone. Enric now up to P7, the debutant. Having a brilliant little race right now. Just loving all the battles around him. Robin's made himself back in a Stelios in P5. Go on, lad. I think that's more contact to the back there. I think that was maybe Enric just losing the rear end. I think it was actually Red. Danny also had that 10 seconds. So only 2 penalties right now. As Jaden has a 3.8 second lead. F1 Eco's probably going to try to defend for his life against Frankie. Trying to get a podium on the team's home soil. Even Samuel Jack Lee is possibly going to get it. I'll try and get it. He hasn't got DRS, so Stelios might even be in contention for a podium now. That's a probable corner cut. As Robin's all the way at the back. The rear end is definitely losing its grip though. As he has 20% to the good, more ERS than Samuel Jack Lee at least. Whether we go back at pretty much the P2. Jane, all
right there in the front. This is no longer a battle for the win. This is just a battle for P2. And to possibly try and haul their way back up to that McLaren's rear end. As Frankie, championship leader, got a dominant lead in the championship right now. Goes to the inside. Nick's going to try and fight it. He doesn't have the surround speed. He will have to back out. Frankie to P2 in the Ferrari. As Sam Jacob isn't close enough. Stelios runs a bit deep though. It's the line he has opted to take for qualifying, so he will continue to take it. Robin hasn't. He also hasn't got that surround speed to overtake. He hasn't got a car without DRS in his way this time, unlike the start of this race with JJ. And now this race is completely turned on its head, and it's only lap 7. We have 20 laps to go, and it's already one of the best races of the season. Up there, the likes of Australia and Jeddah. And now we got Stelios. He might probably be closest. Sam Lee is actually caught back up to the back of Nick, who has a lot of ERS issues right now. He's almost dropped out of a second from F1. Frankie, sorry. He's probably racing for a McLaren 1-2 now. His best of the season is a P3. I believe it's at Jeddah or Bahrain. As now he's 7/10 behind Frankie, who's also 4 seconds now to the good of Jaden. He's just loving his life. He can just sit here and just relax while he's just using his ERS still, just keeping the pace, just upping it slightly. As Frankie now into Parabolic will probably have to watch his rear end for that McLaren steamrolling his way in, probably to alongside the Ferrari at least. As we go into the start-finish straight, he has 7/10 to good though, not much ERS, so Nico's just going to slot in behind and just not attempt to overtake right now. So probably this little pack is probably just going to try and work together to claw into that gap that F1 Indian has just suddenly been gifted. And even Redford Tigers is still there, so him and JJ are still banging. I think it's Woizo having a bit of a rear end loss. It's the Alpine struggling on the power. Definitely probably prefers using the MU right now. As Enric's also still racing for the points here. He's in P9 now. He also has 20 seconds to Danny down there, so probably racing for possible points on his debut. As he has got a big of slide going though. Seems like these two are definitely had a very spicy race as it is right now. I think JJ has damage possibly on the inside of that Williams. He has got his full wing though. The Williams always having a carbon wing, was always made me think it has nothing. As Red got damage on his front wing, it's 3.7 between JJ and F1 right now. Let's just check on the front wing of that Mercedes. It is just it is a cool helicopter cam, but it's not really the one I want to see. But Redford Tiger, he is losing a lot of time into Parabolica with JJ, as JJ will probably try and make a move on the inside as the front wing is all intact there. It's 3.5 between Frankie and Nico. It's still 7/10 to good though. Here goes JJ down the outside of Redford Tiger. As Stelios has been overtaken by Robin, who's actually gone very deep into turn 1 though. As Stelios probably pushing him through into the corner. A bit of a end wheel spin for HRT Robin to go with it. It's 1.5 to Samuel directly, so that move probably costly for the Red Bull driver. It's also 3.4, so Frankie definitely has some good pace in that Ferrari to try and challenge for that win. Jaden's gap is slowly but surely shrinking, and Robin has got a penalty to his name now. And rain has already came in, so everyone said it was a dry to wet race. I was expecting it to be much later in the race, but no, it's already started raining. So Jaden's probably going to have a much safer time with it now. If Frankie doesn't have a wet setup on. I don't know if you can have a wet setup on Monza. He's also just about gapped F1 Nico, but that DRS will probably be turned off very soon, as some drivers may opt to use the intermediates now. I don't think it'll be time just yet. It's only just started raining. But let's just see. If anyone would gamble, it would be Redford Tiger. Let's just see what the Mercedes are able to hit the pit lane. Keeps it in 4th. The rear end, the cars definitely look like they're very nice now. As Redford Tiger will not pit. But there is someone in though. Stelios has pulled the pin. Calling it early, the Kirk Sauber is in the pit lane trying to do a very smart and safe undercut. Edric is also in there. You can see the intermediates on the right hand side for them. As Nick gets a corner cutting penalty, not at the time when he needed it at most. He's also being in a battle of Salvador Lino. Ferrari now swoops past the McLaren before I can even catch to it. Brilliant little move from Sam probably. Into turn 1 I believe it was. And Nico just doesn't have the speed though. Stelios and Enric now on the inters. Robin will just about come out behind Stelios. The Kick Sauber does survive the little undercut. Well, undercut. In brackets for FX7 Danny. So now we'll just see how who actually has the better tyres right now. Is it the mediums or is it the inters? So Will Styles has his undercut prevailed for him, even with Enric. So you can just see who will have better tyres. As he runs very deep though, as he gets a penalty for going wide there. It definitely looks like it's not inters though, as the green car, the green tyres is definitely not the solution right now. It may have been too early for him. He's still gaining time with Voiser though. May just be just cruising it. He's also really struggling on those hard tyres. Probably everyone else is, because those hards are also probably at the near end of their lifetime. Jaden is still trying to hold it out to the wet. Frankie has also gone in. He's going for the inters immediately. He's going to try and get on that undercut to cut that gap in even more to F1 Union. As Nico has also gone into McLaren, probably just trying to stay with that Ferrari. As both of them go on good stops and put out the power of them. Nick's a bit slow. He will almost get held up for the Mercedes there. Well, Williams and the Mercedes. But the game just about helps him out and puts him just through JJ, who also comes in with Red Fire Tiger for the intermediates. And GRS is now disabled, so let's just see. Frankie has the possibility to have an amazing undercut and possibly take back the lead. Well, not take back the lead, but take the lead, because he had even with a 4-second gap to F1 Union at a point. If he had a great in-lap outlap right now, the Ferrari could possibly take the lead. Let's just keep that gap keep looking at that gap with Robin and Union. It's 25 seconds right now, and you can see just Sam Lee as well, definitely struggling, as Jaden's pit lane is open, and you can see on his telemetry he's using all his EOS on this in-lap as well. It's now for 24 seconds, so that gap is constantly shrinking. It's going down rapidly. It's also, I believe, 4-5-ish seconds to Nico, so it's definitely pulled even more time thanks to the held up pit stop. Stelios has also made a bit of an undercut though. He's right there with Nico. He's gone a bit wide though, as I think that's Danny's. He's gone off to gravel on the mediums, so the mediums definitely getting hit at the worst time. This has not been the race the Red Bull wants in his first race of the season. Boyler has also got on the inters now. The leaders are pitting. Is Soundtrack Lee going in? He is going in. I think Robin is almost drifting out of the pit lane. He's just about going to make it in. He's just survived. He hasn't survived the speed limit though, as he's just gone over the line. He has actually steamrolled into the pit lane. He picks up a 10-second penalty. Both Red Bulls spend the pit lane now, so that has definitely hit Robin's race way more than anything else could in this race now. Even with the JJ contact, that probably is the nail in the coffin for that Red Bull. As now I think that Stelios is up into P4, so as I said earlier, it's a brilliant little undercut from the Sauber. And you can see it's F1 is now, he's pit and he's P2. Frankie has taken the lead by 3 seconds. He's gained over 6 seconds on that undercut. He started lap 10 with a 4-second gap from Union, Frankie, and now it's pretty much a 3-second gap the other way to the Ferrari. It's a brilliant strategy for the Ferrari to pit earlier, and it just the DRS sailed at the perfect time, and now it's pretty much the other way around. We went from Frankie chasing Jaden to Jaden chasing Frankie. It's pretty much a repeat of Jeddah. Both drivers were fighting for the win there, and now they're going to be fighting for the win again. It's pretty much just equal terms all across the board. Frankie didn't seem like he had the pace early on in the race. He was slowly creeping that gap down, but now Jaden is the one who's slowly creeping in as Robin gets another penalty after 13 seconds added to his time. So he only lose 1 place to Moiso at the time. Enric also into P8. Great little comeback drive after qualifying outside the top 10. Samuel Drake Lee's really struggling on those inters. He ought to be overtaken by Enric. Through goes the Aston Martin. The first goods the Aston Martin have made the entire season. JJ has also been undercut by Red, I believe. I don't know when, but the Mercedes definitely got past the Williams there, as it seems like the championship little chart the Williams was on has slowly faded after. Well, it started lap 7. JJ was dominating, and now it seems like pretty much lap 13. It's down to 6th. So it's pretty much just turned right on its head. Stelios runs a bit deep again. So Red for Tiger, he has been known to dominate in the rat races. He won in Australia with a great strategy. He also looks really good in Imola and comfortable. So he has 16-ish laps. Oh, not 16. I'd say a bit more than that, just to try and catch up to the leaders again. He has lost a lot of time though in that little kerfuffle earlier on. So that's definitely the highlight of this race. That the spin from JJ kind of started it all, and then Calamity kind of started. Just chaos. That's what Monza offered, and that's what Monza gives you. So now we'll see the Redford Tiger won't have the DRS, of course, to his upper hand against Stelios. So we've seen this quite a lot of times before this season. I think even at Imola last race, you can see Stelios just always having that Mercedes with him. Has been having good races as the Sauber. He's in P4 right now, so he's definitely going to be defending this position with his life, especially of the season if he holds this off. One lap older tyres, the Mercedes. Go into the start finish straight to check on Stelios' ERS. He has got the same amount, so he'll probably be on level 2. Let's just see how dominant the slipstream is at Monza, even with the wet, as they're flying across the start finish straight. Redford Tigers are 2 tenths behind the Sauber right now. As we go into the Tier 1, Redford Tiger will go down the inside. Stelios kind of defenseless as Redford Tiger steves down the inside as a Mercedes to the 2P4. And Stelios just can't make a move with it, and it gets relegated to P5. Still a great finish if he can hold it halfway from JJ, but definitely now it's also 3.4 to Frankie from Jaden, so that gap is slowly creeping up. Jaden's new helmet from today, I believe that's I think it's a new Unsel using that green and black colorway he opts for. Very Sauber-esque, of course, like being set using Crown. Even the Nico's slowly catching Jaden, so I'd say a McLaren switcheroo. Soon as the what was looking like a comfortable win is now looking like a P2, losing even more ground to Frankie, as it right now it seems, because anything can happen. Possible safety cars can always happen in EXFL, and now we'll just wait to see the Tier 1 Season 1 champion try and make a redemption drive. It's now 4 seconds to Frankie, so I think I'll go back to lap 7. It was a 4-second gap. I'm pretty sure it was on the dot 4 seconds, and now 7 laps later, it's now 4 seconds away. So, definitely exciting race. As Samuel Lee is losing even more time. He's definitely struggling at Ascari. I think he's done the same thing earlier. Just ran a bit wide and made the mistake. Or Robin has actually slowed himself into P8. So the Red Bull's kind of trying to fix his race. He has got 13 seconds to his time. So, take that P8 with a pinch of salt. Danny's also been able to serve his 10 second though. So, although he's 42 seconds off, hope never hurts. It's 42.5 to Woizo, who's now also going down the inside almost on Samuel Lee, who just about is able to back out though. And now the Alpine is squirming on the traction. And also got Stelios and JJ. JJ will go round the outside of Curve Grande in the wet. And just about caught the end of it. It's a brilliant move as JJ sliding into the first corner. That Ray Red definitely does not like it when that Williams steps on the brake, as we saw at Parabolica. As now Woizo has been able to get past Samuel Lee almost as they're both sliding now. Very slip and slidey for both the pink and red cars. As Woizo will actually stay back behind Samuel Lee. Both Sam going a bit wide will invite Woizo to possibly have a look. He backs out of it. And now both the equal over ERS, and both have lost a lot of time to Enric now in P8. As the Alpine is not able to get past the Ferrari. Ferrari holds off for another lap. As just watching the sky though, Sam has made a lot of mistakes into this corner, as he keeps it right this time, as Woizo looking a bit snappy though. Brilliant camera angle then from the Ferrari to the Alpines of Alpine, almost goes spinning. That traction definitely not with him today. He's made a lot of mistakes in that right throttle, and he almost found himself in the barrier, just being able to save it. Also 8 tenths between Nico and F1 right now, so if there isn't any possible penalties at the end of this for F1, it's looking like it's just a comfortable McLaren 2-3, but if Jaden does get a track limits penalty, then it could go the other way around. Then the McLarens could end up racing for P2, or they could end up just trying to hold a red in P4, who yet again just looks like he has that upper hand on everyone in the wet conditions. Let's just check warnings. F1 apparently has 3 warnings, but hasn't got a penalty. So I'm assuming one of them was for contact? Let's just check. There's 2 for Nico. F1 exceeding track limits. Cross the pit line accident on the white line. So he's on 2 warnings, as the McLaren is also 5 seconds behind Frankie right now. That Ferrari definitely just cruising it away. Probably going to see the checkered flag first. I'm going to call it early, and It's now 5 seconds pretty much. And even then, Nico is now 1 second behind, and now Red Fire Tigers probably licking his lips. You could see almost the exact same podium. These three, well, Union, Frankie, and Red, all championship contenders. All four of the main championship contenders are in the top 5, with JJ now starting himself into P5 without the penalty, of course. So he is on the cusp between Red. It's 2.9 for the Williams and the McLaren, the Mercedes. So as it stands, JJ would just hold on, would sneak into P4. It's now not lane, now it's going to be P5. It's on the bubble. It's very on the edge, and maybe if Red Fire Tiger and Nico battle a bit more in the last 10 laps of this race has flown by already after the entire the race kind of sparked into chaos. It's definitely dipping a toe into the gravel and definitely not the line. Not really optimal from McLaren, but it's now invited Nico back into the slipstream range of the McLaren. Probably McLaren just gonna play it safer, attack that 2-3. They will be gaining points on Ferrari, I believe. Sandwich at least P9. We're still battling Woizo, as Woizo does get a better exit. It seems like that Sam definitely doesn't like the rain. He's just not at the pace right now, and now he's going to be under pressure from Woizo, I believe, going into a Ascari. Woizo will go down the inside. He has crashed it early on. Will he be better about it this time? Sam Lee does go wide to leave space. Round the outside go Woizo. It's a brilliant little move from the Albin, sorry. As Woizo slots himself into P9. Robin also got 19 seconds of penalties now, so that Red Bull's probably going to lose even more spots at the end of the race. Maybe be under pressure from Danny if he has a great file since 40 seconds off Sam Lee. So if anything does being able to happen, I would heavily doubt it actually. But Robin will maybe have a look at Stelios. Red Bull just opts. He will go down the inside though. He'll steam it roll in. As he does slide in, Stelios will use that wide line anyway, which does still invite Robin to go down the outside. He has gone right around the outside of Robin. Brilliant move from the Red Bull, who's trying to save his race still. And very damage limitation from now. Qualified P2, and now it's looking like P6 on track. But Stelios is actually going to come back at it. Might have a look down the inside there. He had a great run on Robin to go the Grande, and now he will just be able to just hold off for another lap. At the least, if he is under pressure from Stelios yet again. And now the gap has breached the 5 second mark. Red Fire Tiger also being able to manage the ERS to a T. So they got 30% ERS ahead of McLaren to have nothing. So it's definitely looking like the McLarens are going to be very nip and tuck against that Mercedes with a lot more battery. And even then, JJ is still there, slowly creeping his way into this little fight. Red Fire Tiger now gains a huge bit of time with Nico. So this Mercedes definitely always has the confidence of the wet. Probably one of the better drivers in the wet right now. As will we see the Mercedes possibly get a move on Nico? It is start finish straight. He has no ERS. Red Fire Tigers use it all into the first turn here as he goes down the inside. They're kind of defenseless without his ERS. As down the outside, well, down the inside, through the outside goes Red Fire Tigers. Stelios pits now to save his. Well, he had a 10-second penalty while pitting. So the race was going good, and he's made a little mistake there, which has probably cost him a bit more. Obviously, Robin has 19 seconds, so it only need 1 second-ish just to stay ahead of that Red Bull, if he did manage to. As out comes the Sauber now. So even though he has a lot more time to that Red Bull, so the only driver he was racing is now, well, 7 seconds-ish. Or let's just see if the timing will update itself. It will be 10 seconds now, actually. So even then, even though the gap is 13 seconds, he needs it to be pretty much 4 quick maps. As now Red Fire Tiger is also going to be looking to get a move on F1 Union. He does, of course, have that penalty. So maybe, I don't know how McLaren want to play this though. Nico has got a lot more energy. Well, saved a bit more energy this lap. Same with Jaden. As Woizo picks up a penalty for track limits at Ascari. He's actually, I think he's battling with Enric there. As Enric has a big slide. He has been sliding across the track the entire race. As there goes Sam Lee down the inside going his parabolic. He has used a lot of EOS there, I believe, just to power his way past the Aston Martin, who's now following his way from P7. All the drivers probably going to actually end up doing two more stops at the Inters. So let's just see if these other drivers will opt to come in, or can they make those inters go 7 more laps at the end. Might be very nip and tuck. Definitely on the, I believe if it was rain at the start of this race, it would be full wet. Well, full 2 stop. 1 stop of the inters. Redford Tiger has now used all his battery. Same with Nico and Jane. So definitely that battery advantage Red had is now out the window. So now if he needs to get a move on, he will have to do it on track. As a bit of a front end kind of has to bite itself in to that corner. And he has slowly gained time on Frankie though. Frankie actually has pretty much a very healthy gap. Anyway, with 4.6 seconds with 30% ERS. And we're pretty much going to be highlighting this battle for the rest of this race. Redford Tiger versus F1 Nico versus JJ pretty much. He is slowly creeping his way into this fight with the pair of, with the McLaren Mercedes and maybe even F1 Union. Because he is slowly creeping. It's I believe that gap would be 1.7 to around 4-ish seconds right now, somewhere around that gap. So it's not looking out of the question for JJ to get back into P2. Of course, he had pole, so he definitely has the pace. No penalties, of course, to the Williams right now, so that's definitely a saving grace to try and get himself back onto the podium, as Redford Tigers makes a massive mistake almost going into first corner. I think he may have tipped the wheel onto the grass going in, as he almost spins, I believe, as he has lost a bit more time to Jane being able to just eke that gap a bit more. He has lost all of his battery, nothing in the tank for the McLaren, so we would be really under pressure if Redford Tiger was able to get past him. Nico is actually keeping with them though, so maybe if he can push himself to get back onto provisional P3, but JJ is also 2.2 seconds there, so whatever Nick does, he's going to be losing out to JJ though. The Williams definitely finding pace again after making that huge mistake. And it would be a nice recovery drive from at least. He fell to P7, P8 I believe, at the start of after that entire calamity, as Robin has retired. He's retired in pit lane. Danny's now also in the points. He has no penalties now actually. He saved his time second, so now it's also still, he has only 6 seconds to Danny to, he has 19 seconds of gap, but that gap would slowly be cut down right to 6 seconds. Danny qualified P6 actually, so he did have a good first lap though, which was kind of the showing of his pace. And yeah, so possibly see the Red Bull trying to get anything higher than P9 or P8, P10 really. And Enric's also lost time to Moiso and Samuel Jack Lee in this battle for P6 now. It'll be a great recovery from Moiso. A lot of recovery drives this race. Frankie, after having a bit of a bad start, going down to P7. F1 Union recovering from that undercut, who also drifts through the chicane there. Then Red, he also had a lot of mistakes this race. He got caught up in that as well. So pretty much the only man who's the full clean race of no incidents, as I know, is Nick. And he has that penalty, so even though keeping it clean, he has just seemed to just lose out at the very end though, as we've got 5 laps left. It's pretty much a 5-lapper to the end though. It's probably the longest 5 laps these couple of drivers will know. Look at that battle for the podium on the cards though. JJ is well and truly with it now. It's 1.5. The gap is pretty much as big as Nico's to Redford Tiger, who doesn't have that much ERS over Jane either. So that Mercedes definitely struggling to overtake in the wet. Just right aboard. No overtakes being made there, which everyone's kind of spanned out of the gaps. The closest battle is currently the Ferrari and Alpine of Samuel Jack Lee versus Woizo for P6. Well, what will happen in the start-finish? They both have equal level ERS. Both have been saving quite a lot. As you can see, a very thick and bold dry racing line. Now you'll have 7 times to the gap. It'll go down to 6 times, but nowhere near close enough to try and make a move. And Redford Tiger, it's still the same gap, so the weather. Ooh, it's goes for a bit of a lock up there. Olmo is making a massive error. And also though, with the JJ dipping a wheel into the grass there. But with the undercut though, F1 Union has that 1 lap fresher tyres, and you can definitely see it is making a effort now. The gap is 2.7 seconds, so I don't know what's happened. Frankie is also, he's having to save fuel. So that's what's happening. So now out of nowhere, even Red Fat Tiger's having to save fuel. So fuel is coming into a level here. The old thing always comes back to bite you. You think you say you feel right, but then the race you're having to do this, constantly saving, as you can see how much Frankie's having to lift and coast into the final corner. It's 2.5 to Jaden. Is this race win back on? It's been a very topsy-turvy race. It's gone from highs and lows to everyone. We started looking like JJ could have just dominated this race after taking pole. It looked like it was JJ races, I think it was Robin, and then after, I think it was lap 7, then it looked like F1 Union was just going to dominate and bring it home for a comfortable win. But then with an undercut, it looked like, even then it was Frankie who was pulling away. But now with possible fuel, it looks like maybe the McLaren has a chance to take back a chance of winning. As Red Flag is still in the yellow. Sorry earlier with Frankie, his is just flickering, so he's definitely on the cusp. But Red is boldly in the yellow though. Nick is still fine on fuel. Same with JJ. For now at least, so we don't know the exact numbers. Let's just see. Maybe Red might run out of fuel across the line. You never know, because that red Mercedes is definitely looking like it's going to be very close. So you can see it's not even like it isn't really making an attempt to lift for those corners though. He still wants that P2 on track. Maybe wants that penalty removed for possibly avoiding contact, taking track limits from it. But going into 3 laps left, it's 1.7 between JJ and Frankie. So we're going to have possibly a last lap battle for the win at Monza. We haven't seen this much before, and it has been a really exciting race. And this might be in store for an epic closure at Monza. The rain's still falling as Frankie goes to the inside just to cool off his tyres. Probably as same as the tyre wear is probably also biting, as we're still finding as no one pretty much has any battery left. Nick has 20% to the good. Voizo and Salvador, that gap has extended itself a bit more. Voizo drifting his way through Parabolica, right, just trying to get the traction down as much as he can. Those Inters probably losing all of their shred. You can still see a bit of that faint lining on the rear tyres of that Alpine. Enric is still on track for a first points finish. He was just cooling off his tyres there. And also Stelios, who's still pretty much going to take a comfortable P9 unless Danny can close that gap in a bit more. As now we have 2 laps left, pretty much. It's 1.8. That Frankie's done a bit more of his fuel saving. He's probably crawled it back up into the safe spot. As now you can see that gap is slowly starting to come back to Frankie now. As the gap between Red though, Red has suddenly just appeared to be 2.6 seconds. He's lost a whole lot of time from F1 Union. So is it possibly F1 Union is pushing, or is it possibly Red for Tiger is just losing time? Let's just look. Last lap he did 28.0. Jaden did a 28.0 as well, actually. So his last lap actually that cost Red for Tiger that much because of how much Jaden is pushing. He wants that first win of the season. Oh shit, bastard. Love that. As always, Xbox always has to honorary kick me out of the party. As yeah, how much does Jim want? He wants that first win of the season, and he has 1 car on overtaken. 1.6 between the Ferrari and the McLaren. Rivalry as old as time itself. Very much the Papaya versus the Scarlet Red. As the fuel is still flickering between Frankie. Union has pretty much got no battery to the contest with though. As now we pretty much have half a lap, well 1.5 laps left at Monza. As Frankie gets a lot of wheel spin, that will hurt his fuel more than anything as well. As the engine is revving out at its max. As there's also free temps between Nick and the Red Tank. They might have a little squabble for the last points. JJ just sitting comfortably in P5, knowing that the two had to have penalties. And we see Red is still in the yellow though. He looks like he won't have enough fuel to make the end. He's probably just accepted it. And he'll defend the inside line from F1 Nico, who will look to go on the outside. Red Fartag will just keep it covered. As now, going up to the top, Frankie has 1 second F1 Union as we start this final lap of this race. It's 1 second to the good. as Ferrari will cross the line to pretty much start the final lap. How much time can JJ catch up? Jaden can catch up, and will it be enough? And will possibly Frankie run out of fuel? He's done a bit of fuel saving. Now his lights are flickered on. Same with Fair Tiger. Even before the race, the final lap, who will be under massive pressure of F1 Nico possibly. Even JJ's even caught the back of this pack now. As now he fly up to the top. Frankie's fuel is still flickering. You don't know, of course, what the level is, how much he has left, but that Ferrari is definitely going to be on a thin lining as he crosses this line for the final lap. He's going through Curva Grande for the final time, flying into the second braking point. He will lift a whole lot into the first corner. There's a yellow flag. That's just Danny just slowing down there in the Red Bull. Don't know what he's done, but now we've got Frankie. He's lifting, coasting a lot though. Jade's 6 tenths behind him. This is going to be such a close finish. Now Jaden's flickering on his fuel. He'll be comfortable to the end. Frankie, now he's losing a bit more time. He will have a lot more USD use. There's a bit of a yellow flag. That's just Danny. And this pack is pretty much just still formed. It's now all squished together. But going up at the top, going into pretty much the penultimate corners really, which is a scurry. As there's just Danny just slowing down. He probably just wants to be in the final corner. As there's the two. There's Frankie. He's survived up until now. You have one corner left. Jane will probably be thinking about his end. He's 5 times now. What will he do? He isn't close enough. So Frankie, if he can make it to line, he will win the Italian Grand Prix. He will just power down. And it will look like it will be his 4th win of the season. It was Ferrari on top at Monza. Just about. And F1 Union started in P2. And let's just see this battle. Redford Tiger has actually survived on fuel. He just about made it, but it will be JJ coming back after that spin on lap 7 to take back a podium. Brilliant recovery drive from the Williams. Damage recovery to its finest. And the man on pole, as Voiser will take a very deep P6 out of the other Ferrari and Samuel Jackley in P7. Enric will be the next driver across the line. The Swiss driver in the Aston Martin will, I believe, pick up the best result for him and his team this season. I believe it's Aston Martin getting a nice P8 as Stelios will be the final one to cross the line right now, as it was looking good until the rain and that 10-second penalty, but he will pick up more points. It's definitely going like it's a decent season for the Sauber, and that is it for the EXFL Tier 1 Season 12 Italian Grand Prix. Probably by far the best race of that season. And there's Frankie taking probably a very satisfying win. And very comfortable, and there he is lifting the trophy. Doing just clapping. He knows he could probably have fought that in the end, and how that gap just erased itself in one pit stop. And there's JJ on the podium as well. Yes, I said it's just a brilliant lap. And there's the final podium. All just loving the champagne. Oh, in real life at least, that would all be the Scarlet Red, flying the flag to the Ferraris. And there's Frankie doing a repeat of Charles Leclerc winning at Monza. And let's just wait for the black screen to go away. Well, I guess it doesn't want to go away. As there we go, he finally finished it. As race winner, fastest lap was Samuel Jackley. Driver of the day was actually given to Red Flags. I highly doubt that considering Frankie's recovery drive. Samuel Jackley also made the most overtakes after falling to the back. And cleanest driver was Enric, despite, well, just not really having anyone to overtake the entire race. But that, I didn't even get to see the order. But now I will get the interviews going in a quick second.
I'm happy with it. I'm glad I was muted. As now you can hopefully now I'll just invite Frankie. Where's JJ? I'll invite him too. Head to the showroom. Slide into the McLaren. Turn that bad boy on. There's Jane.
Hello.
So I have to include my own audio. Hello. I'll wait for the others to join as well, just to get this whole thing started. When they decide to join, at least. There they are. Jen, your mic's got a bit of an echo there, though.
Alright.
I just don't want to hear myself, at least. Anyway, that's not the car I need to go on. JJ, I think, because you finished there you go.
Nice
Finished,
lag.
P3.
Sorry.
Nice lag. Yeah, it was a great lap in qualifying, almost into the 17.6s earlier on. And it was definitely it was a great lap, and then I think it was lap 7, all of that kind of fell away, and then chaos kind of ensued, and just it was a great recovery drive for them to come back into the points though, and just talk it through how does it just feel at the moment to just have that little spin, and what even happened at that spin, just how would you do aim truck ever, and did you exceed expectations at a point?
So you've lagged a little bit there, so I didn't quite catch all of that.
Sorry.
But from what I did catch, the spin, to be honest, I have no idea what happened. I mean, I think my rear tyres have touched the grass on the entry to the last corner, but like, I didn't feel like I took any different lines, but yeah, obviously that caused me to drop some positions, and then basically chaos ensued after that. Everyone decided to forget how to and then suddenly, so lost a load of time there, and then fire was just as usual myself, and just probably maybe lose at least, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 seconds during that race. So yeah, I just lost a load of time from there and just was nowhere near the front after that. So it was sort of damage limitation. I thought I had some pretty good pace in the wet, considering my wings, because I know I was definitely running lower than Fire, who's deemed to be quite good in the wet, and he's definitely running a wet setup and pad traction and all that. So I was pretty, I was pretty good in the wet and managed to catch up to the pack, and wasn't even too far off the lead in the end after how far I was back behind. So damage limitation, to be honest, nothing more than that. It's just a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, and just one more thing, just as a hope you can understand, because I don't know if this lag thing. My headset's been playing up the last couple of weeks.
Not too bad now.
Yeah. Blame Kua for making me have to smash this headset at Tier 2 Bahrain. And it's using the same thing. Anyway, going back to how comfortable was it in the wet? Obviously, because were you aiming to try and get past Red and Nick on track for their penalties, or was it just right? I know they have penalties, and was it like we're aiming for Jaden in P2, or was it just comfortably just get a P3, didn't want to risk anything, or just cruise it home?
I don't know really. I was sort of just driving as quick as I could in the wet, seeing where I ended up. If I got up to the sort of train with Union, Nick and Fire, then I thought I had the wings to maybe get past, but I sort of caught them a bit too late, and Union's already sort of up the road a bit from there, and was up with Frankie. So no, it was just sort of I was so far behind when we ended up like coming out of the pits on Inters, and then me and Fire he decides to fucking battle me and lose us at least 2 seconds again. So I was so far behind at that point, it was just basically get to wherever I can at the end of the race, and I know they had penalties, so yeah, I mean P3, it's not too bad in the end, I guess.
Yeah, just average Red Fire Tiger activities, just kind of always coming up clutch.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
rely on it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's all from. Yeah, I'll just quickly move over to the McLaren showroom thing. Keep forgetting to do this. There we go. And moving on to F1 Union, Jane, of course. And I just want to say one thing. Please put yourself onto a lottery or something, Because after lap 7, I think it was 4 seconds, you just pulled on the entire grid out of nowhere. Well, of course, not out of nowhere, but just out of the blue, just 4 seconds. Just how ecstatic were you feeling? Because I definitely know you were probably quite happy with it.
Yeah, at the time it was fun, but I knew I'd fuck it up somehow, like I did.
I think it was just an undercut that just kind of came at the perfect time for Frankie. And it just
wasn't even that. I told myself this is the lap to pit, and then I second guessed it and did one more lap and had the most spasticated lap of my life.
I see. So yeah, well, you were kind of gaining at the end though. It was the gap was quickly closing down. I think Frankie was struggling with fuel in the final couple of laps of the race. Was there any hope with the final couple of laps that maybe you can try and get that win back after kind of losing it in that pit stop, or was it just kind of too little, too late?
Yeah, when I saw the gap just kept going up and up to like 5 seconds, I thought, okay, even if I didn't make that mistake, he probably would have caught me. And then I assumed, yeah, he was fuel saving at the end. So I thought at one point I might get him. And then through a Scari on the last lap, I saw a yellow flag. So I got kind of hopeful. I'm guessing someone else ran out of fuel though.
It was
Not
just Danny,
Frankie.
just slowing down
okay.
and just
I
wanting
see.
some screen time, I reckon.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, the last 5 laps, I didn't care if I crashed or set the fastest lap. I was just ready to finish that race.
Oh, at least it's Spain next week at least, and
Yeah.
hopefully then you'll be better. Of course, still looking for your first race win of the season. I'm sure it'll come soon. Been quite close.
Yep.
Yeah, all I can say is just wish you the best of luck for that. And moving on to, I believe, the 4th race win of his season. Slowly coming into a very dominant season. It's Frankie yet again on the winners' podium in front of the Ferrari home fans, the Tifosi. And just how uncomfortable was it to cross the line? Well, no, not even cross the line. Just the last couple of laps, having to worry about that fuel, just slowly just eking in and just making your gap, the whole gap you had from F1 Union, just slowly go down. Were you worried at all? The same thing with Jaden. Just was it always? I can't speak. Was it always in your hands at least?
With the nature of the game, yeah, I feel like if there were like 3 more laps, probably would have been in trouble because I was having like a 300-meter lift into turn 1 from like lap 20 onwards, so I just kept losing time, and I was driving like an absolute idiot. I don't know if you were watching me. The amount of times in sector 2 where I would just lose so much time. But yeah, I think there's no slipstream on this game, and I made sure I saved a decent amount of battery so I could lift and coast in the last couple laps. And yeah, I sort of knew from when the gap kept going up, when the track got wetter, I was gonna win the race unless something tragic happened, which almost did. I drove horribly, but you know, I guess what goes around comes around because I was in 7th after lap 1, so
Yeah,
nice
I
to
was
see
saying,
everybody
like,
else had incidents.
Sorry, what happened on lap 1? I kind of missed it. I think I saw you were 3 wide to the McLarens, and then all of a sudden just kind of popped down to P7. You kind of miss it, but what actually happened?
Well, I got a mid start. It wasn't very good, but it wasn't horrendously bad. I got a bit of wheel spin in 3rd gear, and I'm like 200 meters away from the corner, and I can't really remember. I have to look back at it, but all I know is it's 3 wide, and I mean, you don't get 3 cars going into turn 1 and 2 unless you're doing 5 miles an hour, so it's a little bit weird. I don't know if I got hit in the back, or I think it was I don't know which one was on the inside or the outside. I don't know if I got sandwiched or hit in the back, or both, but yeah, it wasn't very good. It might just be a recent incident. Lap 1, horrible. Turn 1 for lap 1. I mean, it can be quite fun to watch, but not when you're in 3rd. When you're in 1st and 2nd, it's a bit different. But when you're in 3rd, you're first in the firing line for everybody else. So,
I'd much
but no,
rather
it's
start
okay.
last at Monza Turn 1 than start in the top end.
That's just you, mate. On this game, you can't overtake.
I'd
so.
probably qualify last anyway. But no, I'd qualify P12 because Will's here. At least make that, at least.
That's rude.
You retired at lap 1. It's fun just repping into Will because as much as we all love Will, EXFL Senna, but a bit slow. Just a bit slow.
Okay.
I'll take anything I have. And yeah, I think it's Spain next week, as I said. I think it's a 40-point gap after that, so it's definitely looking like there's much more comfort in it now, as Red's kind of had his season just dissolve like some fizzy water or something. And yeah, it just seems like it's just all coming your way. Pretty much like everything's just coming up right. Just think that, like, I wouldn't call it luck, but I'd call it success. And, do you think that
Yeah, sure.
can carry? Yeah. Do you think it can carry on from Spain? Yeah, possibly a 5th win.
No, because I'm awful at Spain, and you can't overtake. So whoever starts on pole will most likely have the best chance. Well, that sounds really like Drive to Survive to say. Whoever starts on pole will finish first. Whoever starts on pole at Spain will like 80% win the race. I'm convinced, and it'll, based on the way the season's going, it'll probably be James Jones, which means he will be gaining some points on me, and Jaden as well, because
Congrats,
Jaden is
Jaden.
second and gain more. But yeah, no, the season so far, I mean, 4 wins. A couple have been down to some luck, like Saudi Arabia, there's a safety car, which ruined James's race, but also Japan, where I was the quickest and did the alternate strategy on this really good game for racing. So yeah, a bit of both.
Really good game for racing, in fact. Brilliant thing. Yeah, that is the EXFL Tier 1 Season 12 Italian Grand Prix. Of course, Spain next week, and hopefully it isn't as boring as Frankie just described it.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. Yeah, so we'll see you all this time next week at Spain.